In this video we'll have a look at practicing how to write formulas and edit them. So the spreadsheet that I'm looking at right here, personal budget, is already completed, and if you want you can just click on it from the resource area in the course management system, or you can just type it out if you want some practice. So what I have here is a personal budget, and it's broken into income, where we've got 3 sources of income and we'd like to total that up. We've got expenses, things from housing, food, so on, down to miscellaneous, and we want to add up all of those. So we've got 2 sets of data. This is going to be a personal budget for, let's say, January, to keep track of how much our income is and how much our expenses are. So this is pretty typical type of situation in a spreadsheet. So we have to make a decision on what method we want to use to add up our numbers here. And in the previous video we talked about how we could start a formula with an equal key and then just type in the raw numbers ourselves. So for example, 1000 plus 1500 plus 2000, and press enter, and we get the correct answer. The problem is, if our income changed, let's say to 1500 for the first job, it wouldn't change the result. So this is not a good method to use. Don't ever type in the actual static data itself. Always use the cell reference. So for example, instead of typing 1000, we want B4 and then B5 and B6, and this is a method you can use. This is just a standard formula, and we'll just type in B4 plus B5 plus B6, and you can see here that they're color coded. So the blue represents this, and this is good for auditing or reviewing your formulas to make sure that you've done it correctly, and press enter, and we come up with the correct answer. Now if we go in and change our data, let's say January's job 1 is 1500, you'll see that the total is automatically recalculated for us. So this is a preferred method, is to write a formula using cell references. Alright, so that gives you an idea of a formula. Now let's take the same type of idea here, and we want to add up all of our expenses. In this case, we've got expenses ranging from housing to miscellaneous, and it's important to understand if you're going to do a whole range, you need to look at the range itself and determine the beginning range cell, which is B10, down to the last one, which is in this case B21. So if we're going to use a function to add up this column of numbers, you need to start again with the equal key, and the function name to sum up all these is sum, and it doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, and put in a bracket. And once you've typed in sum bracket, you want to type in the beginning range. In this case it was B10, so B10, and you need to use the colon to separate the range from B10 all the way to B21, so B21. And when you do that, you'll see here it turns into blue, and it coincides with the range that's set right here. And you can either close the bracket or just press enter, and the computer will calculate that range. So this is an example of how you can use the function to sum up a column of numbers. Now another method to doing this, well, using the sum, we could type in sum bracket, and instead of typing it in, we could simply just use the mouse, click on the first range, drag the mouse down, hold the mouse down and drag down until you're at the bottom of that range, let the mouse go and press enter. So this is a simpler method, a little quicker. It takes a little practice to do that, and that will allow you to write a formula or to select a range. Now from here we're going to have a look at one more, and this is going to be a function to calculate what is my average expense. Now again, we want to calculate the average based on the expenses, but not the total. So it's very important not to include the total in the range. So a function to calculate average is equals average, same way we did the sum. And we'll type in average, and this time we're going to click on the first range and we're going to drag down to the miscellaneous and press enter. And it calculates that it's 354.17 there for the average expense to calculate that. So there's 2 examples of how to write formulas, functions, and you can just pause the video and give that a try, and we'll see you back in the next video.